Welcome to the Gospel According to podcast, the first and only podcast looking at the intersection of pop culture and the Christian faith. I am your host, Dave Hallahan, joined as always by my co-host. No one can hear him or see him but me. It's Dan Ulrich.
Is that like an Angels in the Outfield quote?
You got it. You nailed it. Yeah, that's Angels in the Outfield. You can call me Al. No one can hear me or see me but you.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the baseball movies growing up that we frequented.
Were you more like Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the
Little
Year, Little Big League were two more. Sandlot, but we'll get into that later.
Sandlot,
I think it was. We didn't agree with their theology of angels, and so.
I always thought the like sticking point for me with Angels in the Outfield is that like Angels, no problem at all helping out during the regular season, but they draw the line at the playoffs. Don't help here. We can, you go 162-0. That's the Angels, but now it's up to you. You gotta do it.
Maybe that's the Seattle Mariners that won 116 games. That's what happened.
Yeah.
They
and
lost
then the
in the
Angels
playoffs.
were like, all right, you guys take it from here. And they were gone. We're joined, if you're watching, you've already seen his beautiful face.
Angelic face.
You can see him. He's not an angel. He's actually here in the flesh, live in studio. Joined by a special guest. They say he's a pitcher, but he's not much of a dresser. It's Jim Wild Thing Jefferson.
Penal league.
Well, yeah, the prison will come back up. That'll come back up. But yeah, we're repping the Gospel According to baseball here today. I dressed up as a coach representing Monroe Township Little League.
That's what he does on the side of the softball field too. He dresses up like a coach.
Yes. I impersonate a coach every time my daughter has a game. The actual coaches don't seem to find it as funny as I do.
He's just like, swing for the fences, dingers. Come on, Riley.
It's too high. I'm going home. Jim, you've got some credentials here, though, for the Gospel According to baseball. You're a former Division I athlete, yeah?
Yeah, a long time ago, I did play Division I baseball at Mount St. Mary's University in Emmitsburg, Maryland. Had the time of my life, was all conference my senior year, had a great career, but all good things come to an end, and I couldn't play anymore.
What was your position?
Yeah.
I played left and right field mostly. My junior year, I did play some first base, but mainly outfield.
And your collegiate batting average, do you know what it was?
I do.
Because I do.
I'm pretty sure it was 297 to my career average.
All right. I did the math today. I got 293.
Oh, man. All right.
He's pumping up the stats for the podcast.
I wanted to be closer to 300. I'm just keeping it all the way real.
Well, you were like, it was like 380 or something stupid your senior year.
My senior year, I had a really good year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. But I was built for power and I hit for average. So those options to keep playing after college just weren't there because I didn't have power numbers.
So you had aspirations to go pro.
I definitely did. I was I had a open tryout when I was in high school and some tryouts after college. But again, I thought I was good enough, but the scouts did not. And only their opinion matters when you get to a certain level.
As it turns out.
I played church softball for a couple of years, and I realized very quickly that I did not have the power that other people had. And so I would just go opposite field, singles over the second baseman's head every at bat. Because if I tried to...
It's funny you mentioned church softball. I've seen more fights and arguments in church softball than I ever did traveling the country playing Division I college baseball.
We had a confession from Dan here on our episode. I think it was probably on the Gospel According to Cursing, but I'm not sure. But that the only time that you've cursed, or maybe it was a specific word, but was during church softball when a ball went through your legs.
I didn't say it loud enough that anybody else could have heard it. Right. I was just like, fudge.
It came out, and
it evokes emotion like nothing else in life.
As the ball rolled through my legs in right field of the church softball league. They tried to hide me out there in right field, but it didn't even work.
And the ball found you.
Yep, the ball don't lie. Ball don't lie.
I like, this is like the most man conversation ever, because like you never let someone have one up on you. So Jim's like, yeah, I played Division I, had aspirations to go pro. And Dan's like, I played church softball for a couple of years. And very much the same thing as you. What you're saying, it really resonates.
I mean, I had like an 800 batting average at the church softball.
I can't compete with that. I can't compete with that.
Say what you want. They were all singles, but,
Stats don't lie either. Just like the ball doesn't lie, the stats don't lie. Yeah. So you've got the proof is in your pudding, man.
Division I, church softball, co-ed league.
From any level of baseball, and Dan, we'll actually start with you. That way we don't make it seem like you're trying to one-up the actual athlete here. We might have even talked about this way back on, what was it, episode 3 was our sports episode, or 2 was our, I don't know, it was early on. We had a sports episode. But do you have like a baseball memory that sticks out from playing?
Wearing a cup for the first time.
No, everybody, you never forget your first time.
Jim played left field. I played left out. I was not a very good baseball player. So growing up, the one story where I got hit with a bat on this kid hitting a home run as I was catching. It was not, didn't play very long.
Not a lot of highlights.
Baseball, not a lot of highlights in my baseball career for that. But was run of the mill, not good little league player.
Yeah. I've been literally this height since 6th grade, I think. So like my last 2 years of little league baseball, I was just crushing the ball. And didn't even understand the reference at the time, but my coach called me Dave Kingman, who I now know was basically home run or bust kind of guy. And that was me in Little League.
So it's a later in life burn? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I found out. And then I moved up to, and I think the first time I played like on the Babe Ruth League, the big field, was probably fall ball. And I was like the big shot coming up from Little League. And then I never hit for average. So I still wasn't doing that. And now I'm like, maybe I can put a ball towards the outfield. But yeah, it changed quickly. And then in high school, I benefited going to a small Christian high school. And so I was able to play varsity. I sat bench my freshman year, but then got some playing time every year through. But also at that level, like you can pinch run or courtesy run for your pitcher and your catcher. And I was always fast. So I was like our team's permanent runner until, all right, ready? Until Aaron Hartzell, I'm going to name names. All right. He came to our school. He was really fast. And our coach like fell in love with him. And first like couple games, I'm just rotting away on the bench and Aaron Hartzell's doing all the running. And then he got picked off because he had never played baseball. He just was fast. He got picked off because he didn't understand what was going on. And then I got back in the game. So it's okay, kids. It'll all prove out eventually.
Right. Dave kept all the receipts.
I did. I didn't name Hawley Ham. He was the coach. All right. If we're naming names, we got to name them all.
No one else is the pitch runner but me. If anybody's running those bases, playing it.
Yep. I put rocks in his shoes so that
tried to distract him as he was getting picked off.
All right. We got our stories out of the way. Jim, maybe you have a couple more memories that might hold a little more water. What about your baseball career sticks out to you?
When I got to college, it was a fight to like get into and stay in the starting lineup. So you would get like spot starts or you would get to pinch hit in big situations. Well, I hated being a pinch hitter because I liked being in the game for the entirety of the game. And I was an offer as a pinch hitter my first 2 years. And then in the end of my sophomore year, it was like the first week of April, actually. It was, towards the end. And we split the first 2 games of a doubleheader. It's Saturday. We were playing a 1 9-inning game. And my coach said, I had been playing well. My coach said, look, you're doing well, but you're not starting today. And it was the first game that my whole family was going to be at in college.
Oh,
and he put me in the bottom of the 7th to pinch hit. I was nervous and excited, and I knew that I never did well. but I swung at the first pitch and hit a ball about 420 feet to dead center field. So yeah, it's
Nice.
the only hit I've ever gotten as a pinch hitter because he used me again and I never got a hit again. But the one game my whole family came to, I was able to hit a home run. So as a pinch hitter, so that's a great memory for me.
A special moment.
Yeah,
for sure.
no, it's early.
That's so fun.
Baseball players are notoriously superstitious. They have like quirky habits, and I think most famously, visually, Nomar Garcia-Pera, the shortstop, longtime shortstop for the Red Sox, comes to mind. In between each pitch with his batting gloves and all that. More recently, Bryce Harper with his like little shimmy and wiggle. But did you have any like weird superstitions or habits that you had to do on game day or even during the game?
Yeah, I didn't have the Jack Parkman shimmy either, but it's funny.
Women crazy.
It makes me sick. It's funny, my senior year, when Dave mentioned I had a really good year, I didn't lace my batting gloves, so I let the Velcro latch just hang. Uh-huh. And for some reason, I attributed my success to the fact that I never.
Of course.
I never Velcroed my batting gloves. Never stepped on a white line. When things were going well, I wouldn't wash my socks. I would wear the same, because I would always wear a pair of like white ankle socks and then like a blue long sock over top. So when things were going well, I didn't wash either one and would just rock until I had a bad day. I did one black shoelace and one white shoelace in my cleats in college. Shout out to being mixed. So I did that. And there were things like that when I was playing like in a summer league. American Legion was big when I was a kid. I would eat Grant. What were those cookies right at Wawa? The chocolate chip cookies. It's not Granny Smith. They are
not Famous Amos.
But they're right. But it's a brown package. I used to get one and a peach Snapple before every game. Like I would always eat the same thing. And I mean, not washing socks. Just saying that now, realizing as an adult how strange that sounds. But I was very much like,
I got athlete's foot. I'm going to play better now.
I'm not washing the hits out of these socks. That's how I felt, and I believed it. And I would get mad at my mom if she tried to wash my socks.
Jim thought athlete's foot was a good thing. I want to be an athlete.
I'm going to stay being an athlete.
Yeah, and it's such a mental thing.
I believe in Jesus, so no,
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
Yeah. There are like the rules of the game, the unwritten rules of the game. So when you said like never step on a white line, like I remember that. Like you hop over the line, you can't step on the line. But probably I never had a good enough day to like repeat it. You know what I mean? Be like, I should keep doing that. My superstition was never do the same thing ever again. Just try something new.
All right, that didn't work. Let's try again next day.
What stick though? More recently, Jim, you've been able to turn your love of baseball into an opportunity to serve others. You serve with Saints Prison Ministry. Tell us about that. What is it? How long have you been doing it? Et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. This is my 19th year ministering with the Saints Prison Ministry. We are America's largest athletic prison ministry. We started with a group of guys who played softball in church and went to a prison here in South Jersey in 1987. And now we have teams in Georgia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. And so the ministry has really exploded over the last, I think we're at like 36. This is our 36th season. So things are going really well. When you go into prison, if you were just to hold a chapel service, it would be very lightly attended. But if you go out into the rec yard and play a game and want to engage inmates on their playing field, the whole yard comes out and wants to watch. So prison is a very unique place. Those guys want to get to know you and want to see what you're really about. A lot of trash talking, a lot of engagement. And while you can't go in there and destroy your testimony, you have to engage them on their level and make sure that you're treating them like a man engaged in competition. So I talk a lot of trash. I am very vocal and I don't back down. I'm a big presence physically, but I'm an even bigger presence with my mouth on the field. And those guys just want to be treated like a guy, and they don't want to be seen as something less than. And so if you give it your all, they recognize that and appreciate it. So I've played some of the most intense competition that I've ever played behind a prison wall. And we take a break in between games. Somebody will share their testimony. We'll give a gospel presentation. And we correspond with over 30,000 inmates across the country. We send out birthday cards. We do Bible correspondence classes. It's really a unique thing, but I absolutely love it. It changed my life. From the first time I did it, I knew that's why God created me, and I haven't been able to stop since.
That's awesome. So the first time, if you can think back to your first couple of times, was there like an intimidation factor for, like, did you feel going in, like, I don't know what to expect? And then, like, I'm sure now, 19 years, you know a little bit what to expect. And even, I'm sure there's probably a little bit of trash talking in your not prison baseball days for you.
Yeah.
I know you well enough. But you go into a prison and for the first time, and you're not sure, should I be, I'm supposed to be like especially respectful? How do I engage with, the inmates here? So what was going through your head like that first time that you went in?
Yeah, I'll never forget the first time. I was completely overwhelmed. I was scared out of my mind and thinking, what am I getting myself into? Like leading up to the game, because you're walking out to the yard and you just hear doors close behind you. You see guys coming and going, and it's a scary place and it's a scary feeling. And that feeling kept coming over me. What did I just sign up for? I just drove 4 hours in a car to come to this. Like, this is nuts. I must be crazy. And we're completely outnumbered. If something were to go wrong, what do I do? And I'm normally not quiet. That first game, I remember being quiet and just taking it all in and just trying to figure out, like, if I start talking trash and it goes the wrong way, I'm not going to make it out alive. And so what's hard for me is I eased my way into it, because I don't ease my way into much. I'm very I get after it really quick in whatever I do. So I just had to, I was slower in my entrance. Like, I just dipped my toe in the water. I didn't jump in and do a cannonball. But as I eased my way into it, it was just like you're playing a rec yard game anywhere. And the best compliment I've ever gotten is when guys tell me I forgot I was in prison today. I felt like I was back in my native city playing a game. So it quickly, after that initial fear, and the walls come down, but it is overly intimidating at first. I mean, the first place I went to a prison in New York, and there was literally over 1,000 guys in this yard, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And not everybody was there watching the game, and there's just movements going on, and it was intimidating. And but God placed me there, and it worked out, and I had a great time, and I can't stop doing it. So I love it.
What have you learned? Like, how has your perception even of prison or inmates, how has that changed over 18 years?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing I learned is about myself, right? Is that I'm no different than anybody I've ever encountered on a prison yard. I'm really no different. And, that it seems like a cliche, but like on the outside world, we put so much stock into roles and titles and possessions. Like it's very much a humbling experience, because you're all the same out there. You're just a bunch of guys just playing a game. And but man, if not for God's grace, I could be in a place like that very easily. And so you learn to appreciate the things that you have. You learn to understand that some sin might have different earthly consequences. Sin has the same eternal consequence, and it applies to everybody. And so I don't need less of Jesus, and they don't need more of Jesus. That we're all in the same spiritual condition outside of him. So I shouldn't look at them any differently than I would want to be looked at. So just a leveling at the foot of the cross is just it's something that it just gets hammered home to me. I've played in federal prisons against guys that were in the big leagues, just incredible athletes. I played against guys that made it to the NBA. I have played a couple times prison basketball. So guys have incredible gifts, incredible talents, and a bad decision or a series of them can lead them somewhere that they never would have thought they would end up. So it's just, it just gives you appreciation for God's grace in your life, and it steers you to think like, yo, you're not in control here. Like you you think you have it all figured out, but man, I could mess my life up real quick.
And I'm sure there's a sense of like you coming in as like, all right, this is game day. Like they, play against each other all the time, like almost like, okay, this is practice. Well, now we got this new group of guys coming in that we need to get up for this game.
That's a great point. Most prisons don't get outside teams, so when we go there, it is like their World Series. It is like March Madness to them. They're there to show their skills, and the guys there watching, it's a big deal. The guys that are there playing, it's a huge deal. So they're looking to show out a little bit. And in basketball, sometimes that can be a very painful lesson. In softball, I can back up better my talk. So. But when these guys get to hone their craft all day, I'm working Monday through Friday and then getting on a bus and going there on Saturday. These guys are getting ready all the time, so they bring their A game and they are looking to punish you on the court. And then as a Christian, right, you want to be competitive. You don't like to lose, but their idea and perception of church guys is like these quiet, little,
Ned Flanders.
Yeah. I don't know how to say that. Was a great way to say it, but you've got to show them that you can be competitive and you can be passionate and still love the Lord. So I love that part of it, and I just treat it like it's a game. And I have thrown some elbows, I have received some elbows, and I have been run over on the base path, and I have run some folks over. So it's just. It's all in the name of the game. It's all while you're playing a sport, and God somehow uses my best effort to bring people to Him. It's absolutely incredible to be a part of.
So, Jim, I think your ministry with Saints Prison Ministry maybe sets you up well to answer this question, because I don't know about you, Dan, but I've been hounded everywhere I go. Every time I impersonate a coach in Monroe, somebody's like, "Hey,
can't get away from it."
We want to know what is the gospel according to baseball / softball?
Yeah, I think that the prevalence of failure, right? Like so much of baseball statistically is you have to embrace that you're not going to succeed at what you're trying to do, especially I'm a hitter. So if I was a proficient hitter at being successful 35% of the time, and that was really good. But that means 65% of the time you're failing. And so as a believer, more of my life is defined by my failures. And no matter how good I think I can do on any given day, a failure is much more prevalent in my life. And it shows the need that I have for a savior, because when you're failing so much, you need to be delivered from your failure. That's one of them. I know it's quirky. There are plenty of save situations in baseball, but we're constantly in need of a savior. And baseball, you have that opportunity to get a save. So that's two that I thought of off the top of my head. That's the theme of your show, but I don't want to misspeak. I mean, I feel like I'm here with two legends of the gospel according to, and they can make things applicable in any kind of way. But those are two that came to my mind. The
first and only podcast looking at pop culture and the Christian faith. So legends indeed. Heroes are remembered, but legends never die.
That's right.
No, I like that failure aspect. And I thought of Philippians, I don't have it in front of me, but Philippians 3, I think, where Paul the beginning of it, he kind of lays out his resume, and then he talks about how he forgets all of that, puts it behind him to follow Christ, to pursue Christ, and to experience the power of the resurrection. And he says, not that I have attained it already, but the one thing I do is forgetting what's behind and pressing on towards what is ahead. And as an athlete, but as a baseball player, where you're failing 65% of your at-bats in a good year, a really good year, closer to 70 to 75% of your at-bats, you're failing. You have to forget what's behind, and you have to think about what's in front of me right now and go for it. And so, how much of life is that? We can't, if we look at it statistically, our career, our athletic career, and maybe even our Christian faith, we could look at it and be like, oh man, there are just failures everywhere. But we can't do that. Where am I right now? What is God calling me to? And I have to go attack this situation like it's the only one that I ever have had, and go out there and give it my all.
Yeah, because that next person that you're going to talk to or share with or interact with, they don't know that you messed up,
They don't
the
know
other
you're a big
times.
failure.
Yeah, like you step up to the plate in the ninth inning, like it doesn't matter if you struck out the first 4 times up. You're in the moment now to redeem yourself or to help your team to win. That it's not about those past things that we're pressing on, we're pressing forward.
And just one thing, not to quote the great Allen Iverson, but we got to talk about practice. You know what I mean?
Not a game.
Baseball, especially the repetition of it. And if you try to walk into a baseball game where you're facing a pitcher who's throwing 90 plus miles an hour and you're not used to being in that kind of situation, you have no chance of success. And just like in your faith, if you're not practicing, if you're not making sure you're in the word, making sure you're praying, you have no chance of success in getting through life. So there's got to be the work of putting in the practice that you need to succeed, because if you don't, I mean, baseball will humble you very fast and you won't have any success. And I see that as a kind of connection to faith also.
Love that. Well, lots of great stuff there. Now when the people hound me for what is the gospel according to baseball, I got some stuff I can share with them. All right. Well, it's time for the Bible breakdown.
And here comes the breakdown.
All right, for this round of the Bible breakdown, we're going to play fair or foul. And here's how this is going to go. According to Open Bible Info, you can type in a subject and it'll be like, what does the Bible say about this? So I decided to see what the Bible had to say about baseball. And there are a lot of answers. There are 39 Bible verses about baseball. I won't read all of them, according to Open Bible Info. So I'm going to read the Bible verse, and you guys are going to tell me fair or foul. Fair being that is about baseball, or foul, that's not actually about baseball. All right? All right. 2 Timothy 2:5, an athlete is not crowned unless he competes according to the rules. Fair or foul?
I don't think it was written this way, but yeah, absolutely fair that you see some of the greatest hitters and pitchers that have ever played that are not in Cooperstown. Why? Because they didn't play according to the rules, Dave.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I struggle with that because the people that are keeping them from being crowned are a bunch of nerdy sports writers that have no business having a say whether or not they're Hall of Famers. So you just touched a nerve with me there, Dan. Sorry, you're a great podcaster, but yeah, I struggle with that one. But I'm gonna say fair. I'm gonna go with your logic and say fair.
All right. I think fair too, but this verse hit a nerve in me because the Houston Astros were crowned, and we know that they did not compete according to the rules. But whatever.
None of those players were Philadelphia Phillies, so that's why I don't care as much.
All right. So how about this one? I was surprised to see this one on the list because I've heard this verse many times, but haven't thought about it in baseball, but maybe I should. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6.
I'm going fair all the way because I feel like baseball is something that kids need to learn from an early age. And I feel like if you place the greatness of the game in their hearts at a young age, I feel like it's going to stick with them. So it takes a lot of training too, because as kids are younger, baseball doesn't have the stimulation that a lot of other games have. But if you train them up early in the way that baseball should be trained in their hearts, I do believe that it will stay with them because now we're giving kids so many options when they're younger other than baseball, because baseball doesn't have that constant stimulation. So I'm going to say fair just because I do believe it needs to start early.
Yeah, I love baseball because my dad loves baseball. I love watching baseball because I watched baseball with my dad. I went to the games with my dad, ate peanuts next to him. And so, yeah, that's why I follow baseball, because I was trained up when I was younger. I have not trained my daughters as much. They are at the point where they know what team we're rooting for. So that's like a positive. They're like, okay, PHI. All right, that's our team. And they have 0 runs. All right, that's our team that we're rooting for.
I'll say fair as well. And strategic dad move this year. This was Riley's first year in softball where the girls pitched. And I knew this was going to be a rough year. A lot of new adjustments. They basically all had to learn the game all over again. And so I was like, all right, I think if I coach, that might make her stick with it a little bit more. And it did. She's like all jazzed for fall ball. And she's like, you're coaching again, right? Last one, we've been taking our time with these. So Isaiah 40:29, he gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might, he increases strength. Fair or foul?
This sounds like the plot line to Angels in the Outfield.
I'm going to say fair, even to tap into another great movie. Rookie of the Year. Wasn't that with Rosenbagger? Wasn't that him?
Rosengartner.
He gave that young man power. So, yeah, I'm going to say fair.
All right.
I'm going to say foul. God doesn't care about your baseball game.
Do you know
he cares
the Lord?
about you.
Do you know the Lord?
Well, there was always here the last. I lied. This is the last one for fair or foul. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created heavens and the earth. Fair or foul?
That's fair. In the big inning. Yeah. That's it.
I feel like as a kid that was like a joke, little punny thing to be like God's favorite sport is baseball in the big inning, and I'm like, I think God hates baseball. Like, why is he doing this in the big inning? Like, if it were me and I really enjoyed baseball, I would do this before or after.
I'd create the universe, after the game, during the 7th inning stretch.
Reminds me of my grandma. She would always watch like the Phillies or Flyers or whatever with us, and they're always like at night, and like it'd be like bottom of the 8th innings or like the end of the 3rd period, and she would be like, all right, I'm going to bed. I'm like, you just sat through this like 2.5 hour game, and then it's the best part and you're going to bed. But all right, you guys want to play a game?
Sure.
That kind of was a game, but this game is also a game.
The game.
Cringe or cool baseball athlete edition. All right. I'm going to give you some scenario that is baseball related, and you're going to tell me if that is cringe or cool. Got it? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Having a Christian walk-up song. Cringe or cool?
Depends what the song is.
Yeah, I'm saying cool. I'm going to say cool. It just can't be, walk-up music has to set a tone regardless if it's secular or Christian. Who's the young fellow, the rapper? He's coming in hot. What's his name?
Andy Mineo.
Yeah, him. That's a good one. And
if it's Jeff Moore in the distance, home run.
Lecrae. I'm old. Lecrae has some plenty of good hits. There's plenty of options, but you can't go up there with an old school hymn or some worship music.
As the Deer.
While those are great tunes, that's not going to get you psyched to get a hit.
Yeah. So you're going Jeff Moore in the distance, Dave?
Yeah.
Home
home.
I like
we
it.
need a home run.
So Christian or not, what would your walk-up music be right now?
What would mine be?
Yeah.
I always thought about less of batter walk-up music and more of closer music to run out to. I always thought of the Coheed and Cambria song where it's like
welcome home. Yeah.
Lights go down. And then when it kicks in, that's when you start sprinting.
That is a good one.
Walk-up music, I'm going Nelly, number 1.
Okay. I like it.
A little old school R&B rap music.
Yeah, I don't know what I would go with right now, to be honest. How about then there's some classic ones. I think Utley's Kashmir with Led Zeppelin, like that's classic. Was it Trevor Hoffman who had like the Undertaker like bells?
Yeah.
When the bell, for whom the bell tolls.
Mariano Rivera, Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
That's classic.
Yeah, they're good ones. How about when you sign your autograph, putting Philippians 4:13 underneath the name?
Cringe.
No bueno.
Cringe, because I cannot play Major League Baseball, and I asked the Lord to do it for me, and He just said no. So, no, I'm saying cringe.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, how about pointing up to heaven every time you get a hit?
I'm going cringe, man. I'm going cringe. Because you're not doing that. Because you're like we said about failure, you fail so much. You're not pointing up when you fail. It's not like in all things you're giving thanks. You're only giving thanks when you get a hit.
Yeah. It's like it's one of those things like when people win an award and they're like, "This is so humbling." What they actually mean is, "I'm filled with pride right now," and I feel like that like it's a humbling act to like point up to heaven when you get a hit, but actually what you're saying is, "I did something awesome and thank you God," I guess, because if you did it like every at bat, right, you strike out and you go like that. All right, maybe then.
Yeah, because when you strike out, I'm not pointing heavenward, so I don't want to be fake and then point heavenward when I get a hit. So,
all right, how about last one? Tweeting prayers up when your favorite player gets hurt.
I keep coming down on cringe.
Yeah, I'm always even like Facebook birthdays. Like I'm not a like say happy birthday to everybody on Facebook. Like I'll take the Facebook notification and then like send the text out. So just send the text to the person if you know them that much that you're praying for them. You don't need everybody else to know that you're praying for this person.
Yeah, I'm coming down cringe on this one too. It was actually I feel like it was one of the big accounts like House of Highlights or something like that. I noticed they do a lot in NBA games because there's always guys like leaving with like cramps or like rolled ankle, and it might be major, it might not be. We don't know in the moment, but they'll like post like the picture of the guy getting carried off the court or limping off the court with prayers up. And I'm like, my guy's going to be back in a couple games. Like, it's all right. God doesn't need to be a part of this one. We're all right. All right.
I would just say, but we never pray for guys when they're physically healthy, right? All of a sudden, we got to pray for our favorite athletes when they're in, like you said, have a sprained ankle or have a rotator cuff issue. Like, all of a sudden, we're praying for these guys. We should be praying for them anytime. So
maybe that's why they had the issue. We weren't praying for them before.
The healthiest teams are the ones prayed for the most. I think we need someone to do this study for us.
Or maybe you need to pray for their hearts.
Yeah. All right, last game before we get out of here. We like the draft. We've been doing drafts a lot, and I think there are a myriad of baseball movies that are top tier movies. And so I thought we would do a baseball movie draft, and there's three of us. First time we've done a 3-person draft. Jim, welcome to the draft club, I guess. I think we got to do a snake draft, right? So, Jim, as our guest, do you want the first pick or do you want the wraparound at end of round 2?
Third and fourth pick.
Yeah, third and fourth.
Before I make that choice, are we just going all genre of movie?
All baseball
movies. Okay.
Yeah, so comedy, drama, whatever.
Okay. I'll go first.
All right. Dan, you can go Well,
I'll go second.
You wraparound? All right, Dan, you're second. I'll do the wraparound. Go ahead, Jim.
I'm going just because I feel like it's the most consequential and the biggest. I just love. I'm going to go 42, number one. 42, number one.
Yeah,
good pick.
It's a good pick. Chadwick Boseman, Harrison Ford, and obviously a pretty important story it's telling. Don't know if you heard about that Jackie Robinson guy, but
give me A League of Their Own.
It's a good one.
We're totally going woke here. We got racial and now, gender, issues coming right to the front, man.
Fill in the gaps while the boys are all
audience. What's a good racist baseball movie? Let me get them back. I'm gonna go with probably one of my most watched movies and most watched baseball movie, Field of Dreams, as my first pick, and then to start round 2. I'm going to go with a great comedy referenced earlier. I'm going with Major League as my second pick.
All right. Give me a great coming of age story, Friends story, summertime nostalgic story. Give me Sandlot, number 2 pick.
Solid pick.
Killing me, Smalls.
I'm going hot take here, and I would have taken Major League 2 ahead of Major League. It's one of the ones where the second movie is, I believe, better just because of Rue Baker. I feel like is the best character in a long time.
I made the rooster.
So I'm going Major League 2.
All right, and you're actually back on deck.
I'm going to go Bull Durham. All
right, Dan, final pick here.
Shout out Eric Ulrich, probably his favorite movie. Let's go The Natural.
All right, The Natural. Natural is going to be my pick, but I got to go just for the comedy effect. I'm going with Rookie of the Year, Butt Sniffer.
Funky butt loving.
That's what it is. Funky butt loving. Yeah. All right. Well, you let us know who's got the best 3 movies. Mine are Field of Dreams, Major League, and Rookie of the Year. Jim's got
42, Major League 2, and I went with
Bulldor.
And I got
Dan,
League of Their Own, Sandlot, and then The Natural.
That's tough. That's tough to pick, man. That's tough to pick.
that's 9 great movies
Yeah.
right there. And there are plenty of other baseball movies that could have been on the list. So let us know your favorite movies. Thank you for joining us, Jim. If you live in New Jersey, South Jersey, Gloucester County, make sure you vote for Jim this November.
I like it.
I already told him I'm voting for him twice. So
Even if you don't live there, make the trip.
yeah, make the trip.
Yeah. We'll take votes from anywhere, actually. We don't care.
He is a Democrat. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us, Jim. I appreciate it. Thanks for your work with the Saints Prison Ministry as well. And for joining us on The Gospel According to. Remember to follow us on all social media platforms that exist or have ever existed: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, The Baseball Diamond. You can find us on there. You can find us the bathroom stalls in your favorite stadium. Put your questions up there. We'll answer them. But we're at TGAT Podcast on all those places. And thank you for sharing The Gospel According to with your family, your friends, even to Yankees and Mets fans.
Oof.
They need The Gospel According to as much as anybody else.
They certainly do.
God could use Balaam's donkey. He could use Mets fans, I guess.
You can also send us a mailbag question on any of our social media, or you can email in at tgatpod@gmail.com. We will answer on here, or we will mail it back to you, or we'll sit down and talk to you if you are a blind neighbor who we hit their baseball over their fence. Make sure you do your part by spreading the Great Commission, by sharing the Gospel According to podcast. You can do that by leaving us a 5-star review and rating, and it's free. It's not going to cost you any money. So why didn't you do it? Just do it right now. Do it in app. You can leave your review, and we'll share it here on your favorite Hump Day podcasts. This was The Gospel According to
Baseball
stuff. George, I'll be Hideo Nomo. You can be Jose Canseco.
All right. Well, we got a few seconds here. I'm going to have to cut out. I do want to be able to see your pretty face, Dan, but I need my notes.
I didn't say it loud enough that anybody else could have heard it.
But their idea and perception of church guys is, like
Ned Flanders.
You guys are the best podcasters. You guys, it's not a question. We're totally going woke here. I'm going Field of Dreams.
I did already, bro.
You did?